All right, just a quick video to help you guys out with area model tonight. I'm going to post one of the homework problems from tonight's homework and go ahead and work it out with you using the area model strategy. So I'm going to be doing the first problem. It's 5,226 divided by 78. So on area model, it has a lot of the same steps that an ordinary standard algorithm division problem has. It's just set up a little differently. So the first thing you're going to want to do is draw a long rectangular box. You're going to put the number you're dividing inside the box. So in this case, 5,226 goes inside the box. You're going to draw a line, kind of separate it out. You're going to put your number that you're dividing by then on the outside. So I have 78. So these are bigger numbers. They're double-digit divisors, which always take a little bit longer. So one of the things we've talked about in class is estimating or kind of rounding the numbers up to think about them in round terms. So like the 78, I actually think about it as like an 80. Can't go into 52. So it has to go into 522. So I'm actually thinking about that like 500. Or I can cross off the zeros and think about how many 8s are in 50. So in that case, then it would be 6. All right. So I can double check it, make sure that the number is going to be less than 522. So I put out on the side a multiplication problem and I work it out. So 8 times 6 is 48. Put down my 8, carry my 4. 6 times 7 is 42, plus the 4 is 46. So I have 468. Okay, so when I write that in, then I put it under the 522 because that's the number I was dividing by. I have this empty space here underneath the 6. So I'm going to put a 0 in right there under the 6 to hold my place value. If I put a 6 in up there or down there, then I have to put, if I put a 0 down below, then I have to put a 0 up top. Now, I'm going to go ahead and subtract it out. And when I subtract it out, I have 6. I got to borrow. And I'm going to end up with 546. Okay? I then take this number that I get after I subtract, and I go ahead, I put it in the next box. Okay? Again, then, I'm thinking about this is an 80. And this is roughly 50. And I'm thinking, all right, how many times can I get 80 to go into this number? I did 6 before and it was 400 something. So I'm going to go up one number just to kind of check out and see how close to this I can get. So I'm going to put down my 7. I'm going to go ahead and work it out. So I got 8 times 7 is 56. Put down my 6, carry my 5. 7 times 7 is 49, plus the 5 is 54. So I have my number just like that. So it's 546, and when I subtract it out, I get 0. Now, the numbers that I put across the top, so remember at the beginning I had the 6, I put the 0 up. On this one, I went in 7 times, I put my 7 up top. Those numbers, I'm going to add them across, and that's going to give me my final answer. So 60 plus 7 is 67. Okay? So that's how you work it out. Now, just really quickly, the one great thing about area model is you can actually kind of sort of mess the problem up and still get the right answer. So let me show you really quick. So I'm going to redraw another box here. Okay, so at the beginning we had that and that. Okay, so one way you can also approach area model, let's say that you're not the best at dividing and multiplying and subtracting, and you make an error, and instead of going 6 times, let's say that you accidentally take 78 times 5. Okay, so when you work that out, you get 390. Okay, so you put your 5 up top. Okay, you'd put your 390 down below. There's a space open, so zeros. Then you subtract. And when you subtract, you end up getting just a larger number than you did last time. So ultimately, like, what ends up happening is if you end up missing a number, like if you multiply by the wrong thing, so instead of doing 6, which actually gets you closer to the number, if you go too small, you can still get the answer. It's just going to take you an extra step or so. So now I can look at this and say, okay, well, I went in 50 times or 5 times. I had 390. Now I'm going, you know, that much. So, you know, I can sit here and go, you know, times 10, for example, 780. All right, and then I can keep going through subtracting. All right, and now I got to my 546, and you guys can kind of see where I've caught myself up from where I kind of, you know, differed here in between the two problems. And I don't know if this is information overload or not, but in the end you end up getting the same thing. And so I've actually had people in the past, students in the past, who have, this has just been easier for them just to use round numbers instead of trying to figure out the 60 or something, just sticking to like 50s and 10s and different things like that. So I hope that helped you and helped explain a little bit better the area model strategy for division. And I will see everyone tomorrow in class.